If you find yourself in trouble, count on me, my friend. I'll get right up in trouble's face. You won't see him again. I've got the backbone, American. I've got the heart, American. I've got the will, American. Will you stand up, don't sit down. Stand up, don't back down. Stand up, shout it out. Stand up, let's make it loud. American, American.
Welcome to another exciting show with Southern Sense on Blog Talk Radio. So turn up the volume and enter our chat room or grab your phones. Call in and join the conversation. Help us to restore the republic to this country and inspire the majority to be silent no longer.
Well, look me straight in the eye. Tell me what you see. I'll tell the truth every time. Yes, you can count on me. I've got the backbone, American. I've got the heart, American. I've got the will, American. Will you stand up, don't sit down. Stand up, don't back down. Stand up and shout it out. Stand up, let's make it loud. American, 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 American.
Welcome to a Freaked Out Friday here on Southern Sense. You're listening to us on Blog Talk Radio, Pundit Press, Kinetic Hi-Fi, the Fix FM, SHR Media, and I forget half the other different places we're on. Just go to Southern-Sense, click on the radio tab, and while you're there, join our email list so that you can have show updates, so you know when we're going to be on the air. I'm your hostess with the mostest, the radio chick, Annie, and I am co-hostless today, unfortunately. Co-host is a little bit under the weather, and hopefully he'll be back up on his feet for next week. But we've got a lot of stuff here, rocking and rolling, and feel free to call in at 917-889-3675 and put your 2 cents in. That being said, we've got ourselves a great show. We've got Dr. David Pickup, who's going to be joining us at 1:15, and it is fortuitous that we have this guest on today because SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, got another ruling 100% wrong by approving gay marriage in all 50 states. The Supreme Court has taken states' rights away once again, and we'll be delving into that and whether or not being part of the LGBT community is something that is innate, that is something that they are born with, or whether or not it's a choice, a lifestyle choice. We will be discussing all of that also. So we're going to have a fantastic show, and bear with me as I take a sip. Although I have a habit of talking nonstop at times, I've got to wet the whistle every now and then. Just only wish it was a scotch instead of water. It's a waterless scotch. No, scotchless water. Anyway, those that listen to us know that we start off each and every show with a dedication to a fallen hero. And today's dedication is going to go out to a New Orleans police officer who was killed only just last week, Daryle Holloway. He was killed on June 20th of 2015. We hear so much about white cops, killing blacks, but we never hear about it when a black kills a cop. And it happens to be a black officer also. So shame on the media for allowing this story to get buried in the back pages. And I'm going to pull up some dedication music here, and we'll do Eternal Hymns. This is from the Times-Picayune, from their editorial board. Mayor Mitch Landrieu called the killing Saturday of veteran New Orleans police officer Daryle Holloway as he transported a suspect to central lockup a despicable, cowardly act. It is also a tragedy for the officer, his loved ones, and fellow officers, for the police department, and for our entire community. Officer Holloway had worked to keep New Orleans safe for 22 years, most of those in the 5th District. He was only 46 with 3 children. We lost a hero, Mayor Landrieu said. Officer Holloway was more than a great cop. He was a good man. He was a good father. Our hearts break for him and his children. Police Superintendent Michael Harrison, who joined the force a year before Officer Holloway, described him as the kind of person who instantly made friends. From the moment he walked into the 6th District, he was full of life. He told jokes. He was the life of roll call. He was the life of the platoon. Officer Holloway brought that joy to every assignment he had, including years in the community policing unit. Superintendent Harrelson said, "You couldn't be around him for more than a minute or two without becoming his friend." Tributes to Officer Holloway aren't only coming in from his comrades on the police force. The Big Charity Facebook page posted a memorial with a photo of him on the Charity Hospital ramp in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina and the Levee breaches. His mother was a nurse there, and Officer Holloway was in and out of Charity in the days following Hurricane Katrina, protecting staff and patients, as well as rescuing people from rooftops. He is a true unsung hero, not only for his actions during the flood, but everything he did for the city of New Orleans throughout his 22 career with NOPD. The post had 399 comments as of Tuesday afternoon from people appreciative of his service. One reads, "So sad, as one of many working at Big Charity during Hurricane Katrina, our eventual evacuation, I am indeed thankful for his service. Such a tragedy. Praying for his family." And another, "Not enough words to extend the condolences I have to this family on behalf of this good man and his contribution and dedication to the community." The circumstances of Holloway's death are especially troubling. He was killed when the suspect he was transporting slipped his handcuffs from behind his back, got hold of a gun, and shot the officer through the partition between the front and back seats. Travis Boyes, who had been arrested by another officer earlier that morning, faces first-degree murder and other charges. Police said he had been searched twice after his arrest. It is unclear how the .40 caliber gun was used to kill Officer Holloway came to be in the police department SUV he was driving. It was not the gun Mr. Boyes had been arrested, which was a .38 caliber. Officer Holloway struggled after he was wounded to keep the suspect from escaping, but his service revolver was still in his holster. Was the .40 caliber weapon missed when Mr. Boyes was frisked? Had it been left in the SUV at some other time? Are the vehicles used to transport suspects sufficiently secured and searched carefully for weapons and other contraband? New Orleans Police Department Public Integrity Bureau Force Investigation Team is reviewing the incident and department policies and officer training. The Independent Police Monitor's Office is also reviewing the circumstances of Officer Holloway's death and is expected to make recommendations. It's essential for police departments to learn what it can from this tragedy. No other officer should be lost the way Officer Holloway was. On Monday, dozens of people stopped by the house where Holloway grew up with a host of cousins and friends in the 7th Ward. Holloway's grandmother still lives in the house where many people gathered. They prayed, hugged, and talked, and told them they had the city's support and condolences. We're going through a struggle with this together as one family. His death brings into focus how great an officer can affect the community in a positive way. Today's show is dedicated to Police Officer Holloway. It's also dedicated to all first responders, be they firefighters, EMTs, police officers, as well as our men and women in the military, those who have served, who are serving, and who will serve in the future.
Today's sponsor of Southern Sense is Audible.com.
I hit the wrong button. I apologize. We dedicate the show to them, and to them we dedicate the song by Todd Allen Hardin, My Name is America. We never say thank you enough.
In the grip of oppression, I fought for my liberty. I paid with the blood of my people. Freedom has never been free. Now my door's always open to dreamers and friends. When I'm attacked, I protect and defend, because my name is America. I stand proud and free. My name is America. Don't tread on me. I cannot be broken. I cannot be shamed. If you hurt me, I'll get stronger, and I'll rise up from the flames, and I'll always stand proud and free. I'm America, don't tread on me. America is my name. My strength was not taken from others. Others gave it to me. They believe in the virtues I stand for, my respect for humanity. Now I'm challenged by tyrants who envy my power, but their vicious deeds become my finest hour, because my name is America. I stand proud and free. My name is America. Don't tread on me. I cannot be broken. I cannot be shamed. If you hurt me, I'll get stronger, and I'll rise up from the flames, and I'll always stand proud and free. I'm America, don't tread on me. America is my name. For those who need me, I'll always be here. For those who will harm me, I'll face without fear.
download that clip for free if you go to toddallenshow.com. Spread the song around. And we're back. You're listening here to Southern Sense. We're live on Blog Talk Radio, Pundit Press, Kinetic Hi-Fi, the Fix FM out of Charleston, SHR Media, half a dozen other syndicated outlets. If you want to find us, just simply go to our website, southern-sense.com, click on the radio tab, and also notice we are still sitting up at number 16 as a top 100 conservative show on toptalkradio.com. I want to welcome, as our guest today, David Pickup, who is a therapist, and welcome aboard, Dr.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're going to get your doctorate. I keep on forgetting. You'll get the doctorate soon. I'm rushing. You know, it's like a good luck charm.
Right.
Right. The last time I did that to someone, it was to Mark Sanford, and I called him congressman before he was a congressman. And I told him it was a good luck charm. It worked.
There you go. Thank you.
Now, you are in a very interesting field, and I noticed that you ended up moving your practice from California to Texas because of a California law that was passed in 2012. Give us a little bit of your background on yourself.
Well, I didn't create another practice in Dallas because of that. What I have now are two private practices, and 99% of clients in both practices are men who undergo authentic reparative therapy. But in terms of the bill that was passed, an egregious violation of rights that was passed a couple of years ago, I was the lead plaintiff with Liberty Counsel that brought suit against the governor and the state of California for banning authentic reparative therapy for minors. So in other words, the worst case scenario in that, even though there's a lot of bad case scenarios, is, can you imagine a boy sexually abused by a pedophile in his younger years, for whom homosexual feelings come up because of that abuse in teenage years, and walking into a therapist's office, and the therapist has to tell him, "Oh, I can help you. We can remove your homosexual feelings through a lot of deep and therapy and emotional work, and it's successful. Tough work, but it is successful, or it can be at least." And then the therapist has to say, "No, it's illegal. I can't help you until you're 18." This is the kind of liberal mentality that has pervaded California, at least in the north, and it's almost incredible to think about it, but it is happening in California and at least 2 other states.
Well, you know, I find it amazing because, you know, I follow this, of course, you know, being a talk show and everything, but we're finding that there are some parents with children as young as 5 and 6 years old that if the parents say, "Well, you tell me whether or not you want to be a boy or girl," and start preparing the child for gender reassignment.
Exactly.
You're not fully sexually developed in your mind until you're the age of 27.
Exactly.
And yet we're allowing it's child abuse to me.
Yep, it is. It is in many people's minds. It's nothing short of child abuse with a cover of love, and it just doesn't work. You raise very good points, and speaking from a psychological perspective, you're right on target. It actually harms children to let them make up their minds as though they had the mental capability or acuity to determine things so important as this.
No, and what I found was when I was reading, you know, various studies and everything else, that an individual's sexuality within their brain is not fully developed until they're 27. And then I look at, you know, I'm going to look at past behavior that I've had, and I didn't become mature until I was around 27 in my sexuality. I did not always make smart decisions. Right.
Exactly. The movement in this country to accept gay marriage and to accept homosexuality without even considering that there may be therapeutic or emotional, psychological issues underneath that is well, and now it's getting criminal because certain states are just allowing this therapy that really does work. Now, I want to make one thing clear to your listeners, that we're not talking about the junk you hear about what the internet and the mainstream media thinks is reparative therapy. We're talking about psychodynamic, cognitive behavioral, long-tested methods of how people shift, grow, and change when they're dealing with issues that are below strong feelings like homosexual feelings. It takes a while. It's very tough work, but it can be done. And I've got clients that speak to that change capability of authentic reparative therapy.
When someone asks you, what is RP, what do you explain to them?
RT is based on many people's viewpoint that homosexuality is caused by something instead of something that's naturally inborn. And what those causes usually are, I'm being very short because it's a complicated story, but the basic causes for my clients are always a deep sense of gender identity inferiority from the time they're very small children by a lot of trauma in their lives, and also very severely unmet, in my clients' cases who are male, a severe lack of needs for same-sex love and affirmation, affection that is also experienced in those same time periods where gender and sexuality are first formed, and those needs get eroticized in usually puberty years. So that means the teen years. So reparative therapy, what it does is it helps a man in these cases go below emotionally to reveal, and this is what every client tells me who goes through this therapy, it's revealed this pain and anguish and shame that they did not deserve, that they experienced. And the short story is we heal those issues that are so huge for them, and then automatically, spontaneously, the homoerotic sensations or feelings, they begin to lessen and dissipate. It happens automatically because the person is dealing with what's really going on underneath the homosexual feelings, and they rise, as I say sometimes, to their authentic heterosexual self.
You know, it's interesting because I had on recently Dawn Stepanowitz. She wrote a book that My Father is Gay, and she talks about all the things that she went through in her household and dealing with her father bringing his lovers in and everything. And it doesn't have to be physical abuse. It could also be mental abuse and also an estrangement of emotion from the father to the child.
Yes.
And she said that with people that when she decided that, you know, this gay marriage thing is just not working out, the children don't have any rights. They are not the ones being protected.
Exactly. This is the other side of the story that one doesn't hear in the national or even sometimes local media. The media, the internet, they all they do is condemn and cajole and demonize people who have these belief systems, and they don't make, which is the height of bigotry. So, you know, we have a voice too, and so there is a voice, a strong voice of evidence that change is possible and that people don't have to live a homosexual life. They can actually be true to their authentic heterosexual self.
Yeah. Now, recently, Bruce Jenner came into the news with his surgeries and his transition from a man to a woman. And I look at that and I'm wondering just how much pain is in this man's life? How much craving for attention did he have or does he have that he would do this to himself? Yes,
thank you for raising that point. Now you're talking about what's really down there. Now, I'm not trying to condemn Jenner, as he's called Caitlyn now, but you're starting to put your finger on what so many people know that not many people know about yet, is that below those gender issues, those transgender issues, there is a very deep sense of narcissistic wounds. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying I'm rather certain. I mean, this is not science proof, but I'm rather certain in my experience with my clients that there is a host of narcissistic wounds that he didn't deserve that were never resolved from childhood. And what the travesty is that him or anyone else so far we can see is just aggrandizing the transgender methodology and psychology, and not even considering that this man has huge issues that have remained unresolved from childhood. So, hopefully thank goodness we've got therapy that can go the other way.
Well, years ago, when the transgender surgeries became available, and I believe the first one was back in the 1950s, and I forget the individual's name, I apologize for that, but I'm just going through the cobwebs in my brain. In order to go through the process, it was mandated that the person had to go through psychotherapy to determine whether or not it's a psychological issue or if in truth that person was born in the wrong body.
Right.
But that's not required anymore.
Well, I think it is required of some institutions. It is I'm not completely sure about this, but I have heard through the psychological grapevine that those tests are done. Of course, who knows if they're effective? I don't think the public really is privy to all those tests. One interesting thing that you should know is that Johns Hopkins University years ago, which you don't hear from the media, stopped voluntarily their transgender program, which includes surgeries, because they saw that the emotional issues of the transgender people after the operations didn't occur. They didn't end up being happier. In fact, they emotionally, psychologically, they were worse off. So the famous Johns Hopkins stopped that, which should be some evidence for your listeners.
Yeah, well, I happen to know someone personally who went through that process, and God bless his wife, she's sticking by him after all these years. But, I asked myself, here is a man who succeeded, who was successful in life. He was happily married to a wonderful woman. He has kids. He's got grandkids. And then all of a sudden he decides to become a transgender. And it begs the difference, just why? He had the same, it actually parallels Bruce Jenner. Here he was, a famous athlete. He had his face on the box of Wheaties, for goodness sake. He had a successful marriage, children, and then all of a sudden you're not in the spotlight anymore because your stepchildren are now more famous than you. I'm asking, maybe it was for the attention?
Yeah, that has to do. Again, I don't want to appear judgmental. However, we see this kind of thing when people have gender dysphoria, and that's actually the diagnosis, the correct diagnosis according to the manual currently of Jenner and many others. It's a gender dysphoria. So since transgenderism, just like homosexuality, is not something that's proven scientifically at all to be genetic in origin, right now we're just generally going on Jenner's and other people's word for it that they feel they were born female in a male body. And so getting attention is one of those narcissistic needs I was talking about earlier. Reaches back into the past, in my opinion.
It does. And now we have a society today where we had the Supreme Court make this lame-brain decision. And I am absolutely flabbergasted with them coming forward saying gay marriage in all 50 states. First off, it's not a Supreme Court decision. It should never have been a Supreme Court decision because it doesn't fall under the Constitution. They've just violated the Constitution and states' rights, especially the 10th Amendment. They are now defining marriage, which is a religious right, compared to defining a civil union, which is a governmental issue. If they said civil unions and not marriage, now they open the door for churches and other religious institutions being sued if they refuse to perform a same-sex marriage. And the slippery slope they just went down just blows my mind.
Yep. It is a slippery slope. There's a bunch of people that are saying, oh, don't worry about it, whatever, that won't happen. You can still believe the way you want to believe. But no, history teaches us quite something else. This happened in completely different issues, of course, but it happened in many societies in history, and we have not learned from history. Neither has Judge Kennedy, who's the deciding vote in this case for the Supreme Court. One need only go back to the 1940s and talk about, or see the movie Judgment in Nuremberg, about how the judges in Germany, once they tipped the scale towards Hitler, that was the tipping point to the destruction of Germany. And I'm not comparing issues at all, the same issues, of course, but I am comparing the principle of once the judges go, that's it.
Yeah, and that's very, very unfortunate. And I've been yelling from the rooftops that we cannot allow government to define marriage. And that is exactly what they have done. And if you have someone who says, I can't make your wedding cake because my religion says I don't believe in same-sex marriage, but I can recommend you to another store down the street, and all of a sudden they lose their entire business because they get sued.
Right.
It's
That's
intimidation. Right. And to me, it is actually terrorism because intimidation is the main part of terrorism.
Yeah, if the bakeries have already been sued, do you think anyone is going to stop at bakeries that are run by Christians? No, they're going to go to every. I know these people. I know some of them, I should say. They're virulent in their belief system. They will not stop at anything to ensure that everybody bows to their opinions, no matter what they have to do. And now they have a federal mandate to do it. So it is time for psychotherapy, America, as well as a host of other things.
What also gets me angry is that only 1% of our society are the ones that are implementing these policies on the rest of Americans. And why isn't the rest of America standing up and fighting them?
Well, you raise a very good point. In my opinion, we are reaping the rewards, I say that facetiously, of doing nothing over the past 50 years. America really hasn't done what they needed to have done with homosexuality. They really haven't looked at it. They've either been too embarrassed or too, quote, righteous, or we just haven't dealt with it. And so the issues are so plain when one looks at the anecdotal evidence and research, to say nothing of spiritual principles. And the evidence is there for anyone to get a clear viewpoint on what's really going on behind these issues. But we're reaping the benefits of doing nothing. But now is the time to do something, of course.
Yeah, and what we're also finding is that because of this incessant creeping into our society and our moral values, it's being forced upon us to the point where in schools, this is being taught to our children. Just last year, I helped with an uproar because our local University of South Carolina wanted to have a weekend of teaching how to be a lesbian in 8 days.
Right. Yep.
This is the mindset.
Right. That's the mindset. Well, and the whole, in my opinion, the whole thing rests on what you believe about homosexuality. If homosexuality is naturally inborn, then all the gay activists are correct, and so is the Supreme Court, probably. But if it's not naturally inborn, which it isn't, then we're headed down a slippery slope of untold proportions. Did you know that no nation, I should say, in history ever vaulted homosexuality to the height of marriage? Not even the Romans. They would laugh at this decision today, as great a nation as they were. Of course, they loved things for some people like pedophilia. However, we'd call that today. But they used the same argument back then. It's that they love. And that's the same argument that Justice Kennedy wrote in stunning last paragraph in his ruling. Your listeners need to read that. His very last paragraph is a perversion of the truth, the like of which I've never seen, especially in terms of gender and sexuality. It's pretty unreal. It purports to be about love, and in the face of what's really true, it's quite unbelievable.
Now, I have not had time to look at the ruling. Do you happen to have it with you?
Yes. It's pretty short. If you want me to read it, I can.
Oh, that'd be my pleasure.
Yeah, okay. Justice Kennedy this morning says in his last paragraph of his ruling, who wrote the majority opinion for the whole Supreme Court, quote, "No union is more profound than marriage, for it embodies the highest ideals of love, fidelity, devotion, sacrifice, and family. In forming a marital union, two people become something greater than they once were. As some of the petitioners in these cases demonstrate, marriage embodies a love that may endure even past death. it would misunderstand these men and women to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Their hope is not to be condemned to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institutions. They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law. The Constitution grants them that right. That's what he said.
He argued against divorce. He argued for divorce. I mean, didn't he just basically say that we shouldn't have divorce? Yeah. It's ludicrous. It's so off base. It's almost hard to know how to react. Oh man, I'm shaking my head right now. I'm gonna have to pull that whole thing up later on and take a really good look at it because it just really did argue, saying you shouldn't divorce then. Oh man, it's absolutely stunning. But this makes the difference that you've got a group of people that want to say whatever I want to do, whatever makes me feel good, but you can't. Mm-hmm. Right. What this ruling assumes, you were starting to say something. Yeah, what this ruling assumes, it assumes that homosexuality is inborn, naturally inborn. And wouldn't you know it, that's the one thing that not even the psychological associations of the world, who admit it, can prove. There is no gay gene. They publish that. We're talking about liberal institutions. They even say that evidently homosexuality, as far as we know, is some combination of genetic material and environmental, which means emotional upbringing. And so what Justice Kennedy does eventually is he bases this whole ruling on that single idea. Great storms announce themselves with small breezes, and that's the idea that's behind all of this, is that love is love and normal is normal, and without that there is no reason to create marriage. If there was, then we'd be having men marry children and threesomes and 4 people getting married, which, by the way, is coming. So now that the ruling has, what he's done is made everything available for pretty much anybody who feels they're authentic, who loves someone else, that they can get married to anyone or anything, probably any time. That's what's on the horizon here. Well, didn't we have a woman out in California a number of years ago marry a tree? Married if what? I remember correctly, she married a tree. Married a what? Oh, yeah, she did. I think she went through the ceremony. She did. She went through the ceremony. Of course, she couldn't get a license for that, actually. But, yeah. I mean, you also had a couple of TV shows with one guy that had multiple wives. I think they tried that twice with that. They have now the Bruce Jenner who is transgender. They also have now another guy doing the same thing. And it begs to differ. Are they, by doing these TV shows and getting themselves in the media, promoting this type of lifestyle? Sure they are. People that normally would not even look at it? Sure they are. The precedent I was just talking about, it's already been set. There's already TV shows about exactly the kind of situations that I've been talking about. It'd be very naive for us to assume that, it's going to be just wonderful. It's going to stop right here with 2 men and 2 women who want to marry each other. Nothing's going to happen. All that. I've got a question for you coming up in the chat room. Moving is asking whether or not you're familiar with, I think it's supposed to be Lavender Visions, a radical lesbian movement that encourages troubled moms to leave husbands, run by a doctor radical in Philadelphia. No, I'm not familiar with that. He said they published Leave Your Man Business Plan. They published what? That's something called Leave Your Man Business Plan. Oh, I have not heard of that, but it sounds pretty incredible to me. Well, this is what I'm looking at now, because you have coming to light, finally, the fact of domestic violence and women fleeing their abusive spouse and going into shelters. Now, if they go into these shelters and try to harvest these vulnerable women, that is very scary, because now that woman is now going to be victimized twice.
Right. You got it. Scared is kind of what I am. I'm scared for our children mainly. I'm scared for the people who call themselves people of faith. I'm scared for our country. This is not the end at all. We're going to, if we're correct that they've betrayed the truth in America, the Supreme Court justices, that is, then we're going to see consequences the like we've never seen before. It'll just take time.
It is. And Joe Goldner, who actually ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz and didn't succeed, unfortunately, is saying that they have lesbian courses in NYU and Columbia University. Considering liberal New York, I believe it. I actually believe it. They tried it here in South Carolina, so why not New York, of all places?
Right.
You know,
Sure.
It's actually forcing lifestyles onto everyone, saying that, well, you can't be conservative. You have to be acceptive of us, but we don't have to be acceptive of you, because we look at you as a bigot and a racist.
That's it. You've got it. That's essentially the gay activist position.
And put a link in the chat room, which is www.lavendervisions.com. Well, if you can, give a call in. If anyone's out there listening wants to ask questions of David Pickup, please call in at 917-889-3675. And to do a quick plug for the show, you're listening to Southern Sense on Blog Talk Radio, Pundit Press, Kinetic Hi-Fi, the Fix FM, out of Charleston, SHR Media, half a dozen other outlets. Just go to our webpage, southern-sense.com. Please join our email list, which is right on the home page. Just click on that, and you'll get show updates. And also notice we're still listed at number 16, top 100 on TopTalkRadio.com. You'll see my smiling face just 2 rows below Rush Limbaugh. Not at the bottom of the page where I thought I'd be. You're listening. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Annie, the radio chick. Oh, man. I mean, I was floored when I got nominated to go on to TopTalkRadio.com, and they actually put me in at number 16, and I'm floored. When I went onto the website, I scrolled to the very bottom of the page going, all right, let me see how far I have to climb up. And I was amazed.
Wow.
Ego boost for me.
Kudos for you.
Absolutely. Now, when you have one of your patients there, how do you go about figuring out what their emotional problem is? Is it like a test, or is it something you do? Because I've never been to psychotherapy, so I have no idea what's behind it.
Yeah, thanks so much.
I probably should be.
Well, no, but thanks for asking that question. It's very important. And yes, I do what all therapists do. They usually take some kind of verbal or written evaluation of the of the child's or the adult's emotional history, psychological history, includes usually a drug history, a kind of picture of what they're dealing with, and then, most importantly, what they believe about themselves and what they would like to do about it. And every single guy who comes to me, well, I shouldn't say every single one. I do have gay clients, and I'm very compassionate with them. They don't agree with my viewpoint, and they don't have to. But they don't do reparative therapy. I help them with other issues. But the majority of guys come to me, and they can already feel. That's what they tell me in this evaluation. They can already feel that homosexuality really doesn't for them. They don't feel that it represents their authentic self. And so we do some emotional work, emotional processes that deals with past events. That's the psychodynamic quality of this kind of therapy. And it brings up feelings that are emotionally and directly connecting their homosexual feelings to earlier traumas that I mentioned earlier. And then because they've in part told another person who's also a professional, who hopefully is kind and caring and trained, and because they see the way through the shame, and they get rid of the shame, which is one of the primary goals of authentic reparative therapy. They work through the emotional traps that they had been trapped in, and the unresolved needs that were never fulfilled, and they grieve their losses. after grief, it works this way with many issues. When somebody grieves their losses or their issues, they feel better. That's what the grieving process is kind of about. Well, the same kind of thing happens here with my clients, and then they notice automatically that which has sexually attracted them before is either lessening or dissipating automatically.
Yeah. The emotional part is what people have to understand. And as I said, I had Dawn Stefanowitz on the show, and she was saying that once she wrote the book, she had so many people that contacted her that grew up in similar circumstances, and she said each and every one of them talked about, how they were either mentally or physically abused because they lived under a same-sex household. And again, what are the rights of the child?
Exactly.
Where are their concerns?
Yeah, excellent point. The legislatures in these liberal states have said, "Oh, this is all about children, protecting gay children." It's not about children. If they really cared about children, they would not let heterosexual children be sexually abused for whom homosexual feelings come up without protecting therapy for them that helps them relieve them of those homosexual feelings. In short, they only care about gay kids, I guess, but it's a travesty of the law.
It is an extreme travesty. And what happened in this ruling, I don't know if our nation can really recover from it. And I don't see how we can ever even challenge that. Each and every state, unless there's going to be a class action suit by the state attorney generals, the same way the state attorney generals tried to undo Obamacare. I see no other way around it.
Right. Well, there are several states. My home state, Texas, is one of them that is about ready to move ahead with all kinds of things that we can do constitutionally. So I don't think this issue is over yet.
Well, I hope so, because it is one of the worst things I have ever seen. I thought Obamacare was bad. I thought the second election of Obama was bad. But this is really taking the cake. And
yep.
And I was going through your website, and I have to apologize.
Good.
My co-host was not feeling well today, so I'm like a little discombobulated. On your website, you actually tell people to take a look at both sides of the issue and argument, because this actually means that you have a choice on how you behave.
Right. Exactly right. But the with all due respect, the other side of the issue, they'll never want people to discover both sides of the issue. In my opinion, it's because the truth always wins out, and they don't want to face the truth.
Yeah, it's funny because I do have several friends that are gay, and I've sat down.
Well, I do as well.
With each of them. They know that I'm a devout conservative, and they know where I stand on issues, and they know that I love them and I care about them deeply. And when I
feel the
bring
same
up the
way.
issue, when I bring up the issue of gay marriage, I said, listen, your local government, your state government, whether or not they approve, the civil union of same sex, that's something you have to take up with your state legislator. You've got all of the mechanisms in place. You have to get a license in order to be married, which makes this a civil union first before it is a religious right. And once you do that, then you have the legal protections of a will, of a prenup, of all these other government documents that you have in place, these other legal ways of doing this to protect your assets. If you were to adopt a child, to protect your rights of visitation should you get divorced, the rights of inheritance, you have all these tools already in place. There is no need to invade a religion. And I think this was the whole purpose of this looking for a gay marriage to be recognized federally, to undo our religious freedom.
Yep. That's where they're going. I know many of these people because I've had to testify in many legislatures throughout the country on these issues, and they will not stop. They won't tolerate anybody, especially a religious person who has sincerely held beliefs, who just simply disagrees with them. These folks they're out to get exactly what they want, regardless of the consequences.
And it actually is taking away our freedom of speech too, because if you do speak out against the lifestyle, if you say anything, if a minister preaches from the pulpit against the same-sex lifestyle, it is now going to be deemed. I'm going to guarantee someone's going to try to put legislation in there to deem it hate speech, and now our freedom of speech is going to disappear. There's no question. There's no question at all. No, there was a jeweler earlier this year who was sued by a same-sex couple. They came in, they asked him to make a set of wedding rings for the two of them, and he did a wonderful job. He treated them with utmost respect, even though he knew that they were same-sex and he didn't believe in it. He didn't say anything to them about that. They even were so happy, they went out and had other friends go in for their wedding band. But he got sued because he put a sign in his window that said his religion tells him, this is not something he agrees with. And he put a little sign saying there he supports, heterosexual marriage, a marriage between a man and a woman. They got so incensed about that, they sued him. They sued him and demanded a refund on their rings, saying that looking at the rings now is abhorrent to them.
Right.
So they're already stifling his free speech already. They've already done it.
Oh yeah, it's only just begun. I assure your listeners, it is only just begun. So,
what is your suggestion to the rest of us that think we're fairly sane?
Well, the key is, in my opinion, the key is two things. Get educated, and if that means calling me and have me speak or my colleagues speak for your church or organization, as I've been doing all over the country these last 2 years, happy to do that. We'll fly anywhere in the United States so you can understand scientifically and anecdotally, even spiritually if you prefer, that certainly politically, what the effect of the truth is and what the effects of the untruth is. And so, in other words, education. And then the right to speak up. Demand your rights. Tell your legislators. Run for office if you have to. Inform your schools of what you will and will not put up with, and give them solid reasoning that you would learn from that education. The truth is out there. So let's not sit around and feel like we're doing nothing. Let's get up and let's get coordinated and do something about this. And I want to say also, in case somebody misses this, the motivation is compassion, not bigotry and hatred.
That is true. Dealing with it compassionately. And like I said, when I talk to my friends about it, they know that I'm not condemning their lifestyle. I just don't want it to be imposed on me. What may be good for you is good for you. What is good for me is good for me. But don't force what you're doing on me. And don't take my kid and teach them how to be gay. They were trying that in the New York City schools when they were handing out those little black books. They've been trying that in California. You're no longer a boy or girl. You're a purple person.
Right.
Purple people, please.
Yeah,
so
pretty unreal.
It is. And we have allowed 1% of our society to rule over the rest of us. And that's not a republic because it's no longer a rule of law.
Exactly. Well, there it is.
It sounds like you've got a dog that needs to be walked.
Yeah.
Oh, Bigfoot corrected me. It's not purple people. It's purple penguins. We're not even people anymore. We're penguins. So we've got ourselves reduced to an animal level.
Right.
Oh, man. I've got to encourage people, if they want, please call in 917-889-3675. So, Doctor, you're going to be, I did it again. See, I'm giving you good luck.
That's right.
Are you going to be writing?
Yeah.
You going to be writing a book on this or what?
Yes, I am in the middle of writing a book right now. In fact, several of them, and so I'm hoping that will come out within a few months. And also, I want to tell your listeners, if they have questions or want to contact me, they can do that at reparatithetherapycenter.com. That's reparatithetherapycenter.com. And I'm happy to talk with them, especially if anyone is dealing with these personal issues. Happy to talk or consult with them for a few minutes on anything. So there you go.
All right. And I also have up on our page description your website as davidpickuplmft.com. They can get to the
That's
research
correct.
center through there. All right. And I also have your Twitter link. Yeah, I also have your Twitter link. And I'll be putting that up in the chat room also. So people listening to the podcast afterwards can also see it and then, get a hold of you.
Great. I thank you so much for that. That's really very, very great of you.
All right. And for some reason, my cut and paste is not working in the chat room, but I'll put it up there. Like I said, without a co-host, I'm like all thumbs. I hit all the wrong buttons. But when are your books coming out?
It should be within 6 months at the latest. I'll say that because, I want to give myself enough time to make sure I do a good job. So, they could be looking for them, hopefully announcing within 3 months, maybe earlier.
Oh, well, then you have to make sure I get a copy and have you back on.
If you'll email me, so I'll have a hard copy of that request, I'll make sure you hear from me.
And I can email you through the website.
Oh, yeah, anybody can actually. It's very easy. You just go to the contact page, boom, you're there.
Well, you are doing some fantastic work, and I'm looking forward to reading the books. But I don't even know what to say or do anymore with the way we're being overruled by, as I said, 1% of our society. And we've got to get more people to speak out.
Yes, that's it. And so if you belong to a conservative group, if people just stand up together, which hasn't been done a lot, frankly, that's one of the answers. It's hard to ignore a lot of people, and that's what the other side has, is a lot of money and a lot of people. So if you're going to connect with other groups, whether it's through your church or through political organizations, the political conventions are coming up this year and next year. So connect and speak out.
That is the truth. I've been telling everyone to do that because I'm the leader of our local Tea Party, which we formed back in May of 2009, and I've been keeping it going. I tell people to also get involved in their local GOP. We've got to bring the Republican Party back across that line, back over to the right. We've got to swing that pendulum back over to make our votes really count. And that is something that we're sorely missing. I hear all the time people say, well, my vote doesn't count, or I'm just going to vote independent, or I'm going to vote third party. In order to get our country back, we've got to take back our political party, which is the Republican Party. We've got to take it back. I said that to my local GOP chair, and the look on his face is like he was starting to choke. And he goes, what do you mean by that? I said, we've got to swing back to it. Take it over. Take it back. Yes. Yes. It's the truth. Hello.
Yep. Yeah.
They weren't happy.
Right. I bet.
What made them even more unhappy is that when I became my precinct executive committee woman, which meant that I have a vote in policy, which is another reason why we've got to get our people into the GOP, get rid of the Karl Rove. Oh, man, Karl Rove the other day, last week when he said, repeal the Second Amendment, I nearly fell out of my chair, I swear.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
He was on Fox News with Chris Wallace Sunday, Fox News Sunday. He was on a panel, and they were talking about the shooting here in Charleston. And he said, well, in order to stop the violence, we've got to get someone with enough oomph to repeal the Second Amendment. He since walked it back. But this is the mindset we're dealing with. This is the mindset that you're dealing with.
Yes, that's right.
And
unbelievable.
And Deb says in the chat room, it's insanity, which is your field.
Right.
Well, Doctor, it has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. I don't know if you want to hang around and.
Well, I've got.
Because, like I said, I don't have a co-host.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks for the invitation, but I've got some clients who need taken care of, and so I'll sign off right now to help process that. And I want to thank you so much for your very personable and very realistic show. It's great being here. Anytime you want me back, I'm happy to do that.
Oh, it is my pleasure, and you definitely will have an open invitation. I don't know if you were working with AJ or Andrew or Jonathan, but I'll get a hold of them and get you back on soon.
Oh, great. That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. You have a great day. Thank you. David Pickup. Check out his website, which is davidpickuplmft.com. It is very interesting, and he's doing great work out there. We need more people like him, not less, but a heck of a lot more. I'm going to take a little short break, and I'm going to play a little bit of Susan Tom, and this is Susan Tom's Take My Hand. We'll be back in a few. All right, getting started.
When you're ready to ever happened to you? You vote for a charismatic young politician only to be disappointed by his undelivered promises of hope and change. If you're like much of the American voting public, you surely have. Has your car been marred by an unsightly blemish? Has your property value decreased due to the regretful political statements on your neighbor's car? Are you tired of being embarrassed to drive through your own neighborhood? Hi, I'm Brad Stein, and I'd like to introduce you to a brand new product that can help you cleanse your car and your life from any regretful Election Day decision. Introducing the Obama Bumper Sticker Removal Kit. How does it work? Let me show you. Simply pull your car into a garage, empty warehouse, or otherwise inconspicuous area. Use the official BS scraper to remove the old BS from your car and replace it with a brand new bumper sticker. It's just that easy. Even works on a Prius. What about your friend, neighbor, or that hippie stepbrother who bought into that Obama BS? Don't make him live in shame. Anonymously send him a BS removal kit of his very own. The BS removal kit works on BS of all kinds. Hope and change. Change you can believe in. And that oh so hard to get rid of Obama Biden BS. So rid your car and your life of Obama BS today. Only at bsremoval.com. The Obama Bumper Sticker Removal Kit does not get rid of higher taxes, mandatory health insurance, or high unemployment. Satisfaction is not guaranteed because, well, you've already proven that you don't make very good decisions.
All right. We're back. You listen to Southern Sense here on Blog Talk Radio, Pundit Press, Connect Hi-Fi, SHR Media, half a dozen other places. Just go to southern-sense.com. Join our emailing list to get updates on the show. And notice that we're still sitting at number 16 at toptalkradio.com. I'm your hostess with the mostest, the radio chick, Annie. And we have a guest call in, our good friend, Deb. How are you doing today, Debbie?
Oh, I'm great, Annie, and congratulations on your rating, and I hope it shoots up even further. How is everybody? Hello, darlings. Love you bunches from the deep south, Arkansas.
Oh, man, I got some Arkansas material in my house because my girlfriend, she's from Arkansas, so every time she went back there, she brought me some things back, so I got, like, T-shirts and stuff like that. Never
well,
been there.
It better have a hog on it, a razorback hog.
Oh, yeah, we've got all that stuff. Oh, okay. This has been an interesting day, has it not, with the Supreme Court ruling?
The last 2 days have just thrown me for a loop. I would never have thought. Well, yeah, I would have. With Roberts, you never know, and Kennedy, you never know. They're both idiots. So, yeah, I saw this coming, but this, I know that people don't agree with me, but this is the beginning of a real big problem in this country. I don't know if you guys don't, I know you probably don't agree with me, but there is a big problem. You've got a lot of Christians like me that are semi-militant that won't put up with this. And it's not because we hate, it's because we're being persecuted. And when you get persecuted, in return, you turn around and you fight back. And I am a fighter, and I'm just not going to put up with it. And especially with somebody trying to take away my gun. That's going to be a real big problem. So
no, I completely agree. As a matter of fact, my church, because I'm here in South Carolina, was formed back in 1712. Tell you about how deep in the South we are. This is actually the real Bible Belt that goes straight through from South Carolina all the way over to you, Deb. But I got a message from our pastor saying that they're going to be removing the Confederate battle flag from the graves in the cemetery around the church and replacing it with the Confederate stars and bars so that we don't offend anyone because of this whole big, you get a shooting up in Charleston. You get one individual, one person, one nutcase, one absolute Looney Tune. He does one act, and 9 people died. It happened to have been a no-gun zone. That was a no-gun zone. Those 9 people probably could have been still alive today had there been a legal gun owner in that Bible study class.
Exactly.
9 people
That's
would
the way
still
I feel
be alive,
about it.
and the only one, only one dead that would have gone out feet first would have been the gunman. You know how long it takes, because you're a shooter, I'm a shooter, for him to reload 5 times?
Oh, I know. I don't go anywhere. I've stated already that I won't go anywhere where I'm not allowed to take my gun. I will not go in anywhere where I'm not allowed to take my gun.
Well, that keeps you out of banks. It keeps you out of doctor's offices.
Well,
so,
I don't tell them I have a gun. I mean, I don't go into banks. I really don't. I use an ATM if I have to. I don't go into the post office. I have my husband go buy my stamps. I just anywhere. I don't even go to Razorback football games anymore because I can't take my gun. I just don't feel safe without my gun, and I'm not going in. If I can't take my I have a hidden gun in my purse. If they have some place that tells me I can't take it in, I can't. You're not supposed to take it into liquor stores either, but I do, because it's hidden.
Well,
I just don't.
Well,
I'm
here in South Carolina, they do allow. Yeah, they allow you to take it into the liquor stores. They even allow us to take it into restaurants that serve alcohol. The only thing is they say that you cannot drink alcohol, which makes sense. You don't want to mix alcohol and guns together.
Right.
So if you do carry it in, you drink a soda pop, a lemonade, a sweet tea, something like that. But I never carry in a purse. Never. I always have it on my purse, and a purse can be stolen. And I'm very strict about that.
This is true, but when it's hot, I have a fireworks stand, or my husband does, and I'm going to have to go work it the 4th of July. As hot as it is, there's nowhere I can keep it on my person without it showing. So, it's not concealed in that way. And, I don't know what to do with it. So, I don't have a holster that I can put on my person that doesn't bulge somewhere, because I'm a little tiny person. So, and if you can tell me some way I can hide it on my person, I'll be glad to go purchase that. But I don't.
What I normally do is if it's a situation similar to that, I wear men's jeans. For some reason, they just fit my body shape better. But men's jeans have deeper pockets, so I can slip it into my pocket, and I can keep it concealed, so I can walk around whether or not I cut off shorts, or full-length jeans. I can leave it in my pocket and be comfortable, and it really doesn't show all that much because the pockets are so big.
Well, I guess if I wear a big shirt over, a pocket, then I could probably get by with it.
That's what I do. That's exactly what I do. A T-shirt that hangs over. I think this might be a friend of ours calling in, and I might be the underground professor. Is it? Area code 817?
Yes, it is. I couldn't turn the mute off fast enough. You got to me quicker than I expected. The Israelis invented hey guys, the Israelis have a bra that has a holster hanging on it that's just below the twins. And it's a very good concealed. There's a video.
Wow.
You can Google it on and find the video for it, because the first thing you think of is how hard it would be to get to and use. But they have, like I said, you can go in there and watch the video. It's really amazing how that works, and no one will ever look at it. They'll never see the gun bulging because most guys are looking at other things.
If you don't have a whole lot up there either, I'm 60 years old. Nobody's looking there anymore anyway.
But they did that for teachers so that the teachers could have a concealed weapon also and have it free and not, where kids could get to it, like on their hip or something, accidentally. And so anyway, that's I have an ankle holster, and I have a waistband that will go on either side of my hips, and it clips in. And that's how I do it.
Colt Mustang. Colt is going out of business, but I'm sure we can still find this on the web. But they have a pocket-like Sneaky Pete holster. They call it Sneaky Pete, And it looks like it's a holder for like a PDA, an iPad, or something like that. So even though the holster's on the outside, it looks like it's a device and not a holster. It's very clever. So people just Google Sneaky Pete holster because I put it aside to purchase it, and I'm looking to see if I saw a price. Not that expensive. I just haven't gotten off my butt to purchase it. But, there's other ways to do it. But
you can also go old school back to the 80s and just get a fanny pack.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I loved my fanny pack. I wish they hadn't gone out of style. I loved it. I loved it. Not having to carry a purse. Just put everything you needed in that fanny pack and just go.
Yeah. Well, I used to have one of those belly bands that when I went jogging, I would put it there. But you found that when you were trying to breathe as you were running, it was restricting your breathing. I didn't find it very comfortable or very useful. But there's other ways. Everyone has a creative way in order to carry. Want to thank you guys for joining me. Unfortunately, my co-host is a little under the weather today, so his wife is standing over him with a rolling pin, making sure that he behaves.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deb.
No, I was just saying, I hope everything's okay. Was Danny going to be your co-host?
Yeah, but I got a text earlier today saying that, he wasn't feeling all that great, so he's restricted. He's under the thumb today. But what did you think of our guest Dave Pickup?
Think of what?
What did you think of our guest Dave Pickup?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that, or I'm misunderstanding you. My phone, maybe my connection's bad.
Our guest that was calling in the first half of the show, talking about.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, he was great. I know that he I missed the very, very first part, so I assume that he is sort of like a psychoanalyst. Is that it?
Yeah, he's a therapist, yeah.
Right, okay. And he deals with people that have homosexual issues too, or also?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's very successful in what he does.
Yeah, okay. And I know the big question is whether it's genetic or it's environmental, learned behavior. And I've always felt like it was a learned behavior. I don't think it's genetic at all. I'm an RN, and I have some background in science and that sort of thing. I'm not a geneticist, but I don't think it's ever been proven that there's a gene for being homosexual. So
no one has ever isolated.
Until you can prove it to me, otherwise, it's a learned environmental behavior.
There was a study that came out and declared that there was a gay gene, and then the backlash was everybody says, well, good, now we can figure out if we have it and abort those babies and start over because we don't want gay babies. And the very same people who came out and claimed it, which were funded by gay people, it was, it was pseudoscience at best. But then they came out and said, oh, no, we got it wrong because they don't want people euthanizing gay embryos.
Oh no, we have enough abortions already. We're aborting, more black children. But that's okay because, that's the way it's supposed to be, and the poor black people don't realize it. Because they're too stupid to understand that. I'm not saying that. I'm just referring to that's why liberals get away with the crap that they do.
Yeah, if you look at the majority of abortion clinics are in black and Hispanic neighborhoods. You find the majority of the babies that are being aborted are black, and no one speaks out about that.
It makes me sick.
It's the woman's choice. It's the woman's choice, but what are the rights of that child? That is a living child. It may not be on the outside of the body, but it is living. But it's okay to abort a living child, and it's not okay to place someone on death row for committing horrendous crimes.
Well, that's
Where-
a big problem for me. You know, and me being I don't claim to be Catholic these days. I'm not supposed to believe in punishment either. But as far as I'm concerned, why you're killing an innocent baby and you're letting a proven criminal that has just society has deemed is dangerous, and he's okay to live. I don't understand the idea at all. It's mind-boggling. I'm taking the whole system is just insane. We're upside down from our principles and our values, and the Supreme Court has proved that. Just because of culture, I don't believe in that. I believe in the law. I believe in individual rights. I don't believe in a collective. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I've got a dog and a cat fighting. I have a big shepherd that has gotten loose, and he is fighting with my Yorkie. And my Yorkie thinks he rules the roost, and my cat is not happy. Okay, now. It's a 3-ring circus at my house. I have 4 dogs, a cat, 2 horses, and that's just the minor amount of menagerie I've had in my lifetime. I've had emus. I've even had a buffalo at one time. So, yeah. Llamas.
Oh, man.
Potbelly
You're
pigs.
in survival mode.
Oh, yeah. I like animals better than I do people, actually. No, I'm kidding. I love people. I'm a nurse, or I was. You know, I love people. I really do. It's just that some people are so insane. I don't understand it anymore. I'm 60 years old. I've got great grandkids now, and I see a world for them that is pitiful. I just don't see the great growing up that I had that they're going to experience. I don't understand it at all.
Now, Ken asked a good question. Ken asked, will the GOP change its platform to accept the LGBTQ marriage? What the heck is Q?
Queer?
That's a new one. Well,
Yeah, it's queer.
Gay is?
Yeah.
But isn't that redundant because you've got gay? There's a difference between gay and queer?
Gays are men, and lesbians are female, and queer are any of them. They're like bisexual.
Are what?
Yeah.
But they already have B for bisexual.
Yeah, it's just the term for...
It's the transgenders that don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
So they don't know if they're a
exes.
man or a woman, so they call them a queer. I don't know. It's just a guess.
All right, well, Bigfoot is writing in the chat room that Q stands for questioning. So if you're not sure if you're lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, and if you're just questioning it, then
that's what I was trying to say.
But this
is that it means that you don't know, but you know you're not normal.
Yeah, this is what we go back to what we were talking with David, our guest, and I'm going to put up in the chat room again the link to his, which my insert is not working. Try that. No, it's not working. David Pickup, LMFT.com. What he does, this is exactly what he works with. If you're questioning, then you go to a therapist to help figure out, exactly where you stand. And this is where he says that all the people that he's run across, be they children or adults, have had some sort of abuse in their life, which they've either had grown up in a family that doesn't have a father figure or there's been abuse. And this is what we've got to bring our society back to traditional marriages, to a two-parent household, a mother and a father, because boys need father figures. This is where we're all going wrong. And with the SCOTUS decision, they've taken us completely in the opposite direction. Instead of supporting traditional families, they've actually destroyed them. Professor, you'll agree. It started with the Great Society of Lyndon Baines Johnson. Once we started welfare, and welfare now says that if you have a husband and a wife in the family, you get less benefits than if you're a single parent, which only encourages single-parent households.
When that stuff started in the 40s, and
This really started back before. This started with Wilson. I mean, the whole. Actually, Theodore Roosevelt was the first progressive, but if you really want to get into it, with Margaret Sanger, and beginning at the early 20th century, its gone with progressivism has been biting and waiting. It's waiting for the time, and it has finally reached to where we are completely transformed. As I wrote in the chat room earlier, we are completely transformed now. And we won't see it, folks. We won't see it. It's going to take it may take 2 generations before this country even resumes or reverts back to what our founding fathers envisioned for us, if even then, because I don't know if you've ever read Road to Serfdom, the 5,000-year leap. It's just fighting back and forth. The Weimar Republic. I mean, if you look at what happened to them, and what happened pre-World War II. We are seeing it. We're repeating history. It's a constant revolution. I mean, and unless you have a God-led revolution, you're not going to get anywhere, as we found out, from the French Revolution, say. I don't know if you read Ann Coulter. Some people think she's really too radical. But I have my suspicions that we won't see it. We won't see it. I'm too old. I'm too old.
Professor.
But maybe my great grandchildren will learn enough from me to be able to pass it on. If I'm able to teach them what is really the true idea of America. We were and still could be the shining city on the hill. But we won't see it in our lifetime. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. We will not see it because we are completely transformed.
Professor, I want to get Professor's viewpoint.
Okay.
I already forgot what we were talking about.
Sorry, I butted in.
That's no biggie. It's not my show. And I don't have any privileges here. When welfare first started out, it was required that you were married before you could even receive benefits. And, of course, that was whittled away by the Democrats when they realized that they could enslave people with it. Everything that we have as a value in America that made us unique and made us exceptional has been under attack. And it's under attack primarily because of the useful idiots who think they're going to be the ones that are going to benefit and profit and lead us. And they don't realize that they're useful idiots. When you have people like Karl Rove and Ann Coulter out there pushing progressive republicanism, and you said she might be an extremist. So she is, but she isn't. If you go back and follow a lot of what she does, she's a pro Christie-crat, and that's where her politics lie. And I don't trust her. She's off of my list of people to pay attention to. But we could be losing everything. But the one difference that I see is that it's like the 70s all over again when Eddie Childs got all of our attention. And we're paying attention now. And so instead of us just going over the cliffs, over like the Niagara Falls in a barrel, now our eyes are open and we're doing stuff about it. Look at all the radio shows that have flared up like yours and mine. Yours is number 16, mine's number 3,287,500. And but we're out there making a difference. People are coming to us and listening, and then they're spreading the word and talking to other people. And I think that's what's unique. That's how the country was formed, pamphleteering, and that's what we are. We're the pamphleteers of the 18th century. So I have hope.
This is true. This is true. Shows like yours, shows like Ken's, shows like Vito's, all these shows, we're getting a lot more attention because people are moving away from mainstream media. Whether it's Fox News or CNN, it's the same story over and over again. They hone in on that main story, and every 20 minutes they loop it around, and you're listening to the same thing over and over and over again. It's people like us that delve into all the other areas and pull up things such as what was written up in the Hill and no one's talking about. Obama making a bid to diversify wealthy neighborhoods. He wants to use regulations that would use grant money as an incentive for communities to build affordable housing in more affluent areas. So here you are, you finally succeeded, you've reached your goal, you are now wealthy, whatever product you have is just going crazy across the country and now international. You can buy that dream house with that built-in swimming pool and 16-car garage, and you can have acres of land around you and not have to worry about, getting mugged while you walk past the corner bodega. They want to take that away from you and put in affordable housing. Does that make sense to anyone? These are the things that we're paying attention to. You've got veterans who are determined to be having some sort of a mental illness, whether it's traumatic brain injury or PTSD. You've got a clerk in the back room diagnosing these vets without having seen a doctor, without an interview, without verification, putting this on the veterans, chart, so they lose their guns. They have their guns pulled. And then the VA says, well, if you want your guns back, give up your VA benefits. These are the stories that the mainstream media is not talking about, that we're talking about. We've got stories like Representative Louis Gohmert saying that Obama administration outed an active Israeli spy mission in Iran. We're talking about these things. We're talking about the SCOTUS decision from a different viewpoint than what mainstream media are doing. And we've got to keep on doing it. And, Professor, I thank you for doing that. Did we lose you again, Dave?
No, I'm sorry. I was talking to a customer.
Oh, you're drove to work. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at work.
The luxury of new electronics.
I have a lot of dependents. A little over 2 million people depend on my paycheck for their living.
But Deb, is what am I saying true? That people are now moving away from mainstream media and looking for alternative sources for information.
Yes, they're coming to us in droves too. It's not a small trickle. They are coming to us big time, dissatisfied, and even Fox is losing people now because of the perception that they have gone moderate on us, progressive Republican, and so we have a big burden placed upon us to be right and honest and do our homework.
That's what we have to do. And they're trying to silence the voices from the right. Look what they have now. In colleges, predominantly all the professors are progressives. And if you have a student that goes into those courses that happens to be a conservative or a Republican, their voice is stomped out. But fortunately, we have places like Turning Point USA that is going into these colleges and giving these conservatives and Republicans their voice back, saying, hey, listen, we're here to help and support you. You've got, Charles Koch Institute that goes into the colleges and gives them grants to help unlock the students' freedom of speech, to let them have all the different sides of the story. And the story doesn't have just two sides. You've got to look at it from different angles also. This is a problem that we also run into because we think either Republican or Democrat, so progressive or conservative. No, you've got to look at it from several different angles before you come to what the actual truth is. And this is what we're doing. And I'm going to suggest, if Ken is in the chat room, for him to come in and chime in and give his 2 cents. If you can, call in 917-889-3675. I'm going to take like a small little bit of a break. We'll be back in just a few seconds because my throat is going dry here.
Yes? Oh, come in, Larry. This is Mr. Montgomery. I met him a few weeks ago in New York.
Oh, how are you? You live here?
Yes.
Well, maybe you know what a zombie is.
A what?
Well, Prada just told me about a caretaker on Black Island. A Negro woman lives in a little shack with a zombie son.
Yes, that's more voodooism, and not very pleasant. When a person dies and is buried, it seems there are certain voodoo priests who have the power to bring him back to life.
How horrible.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring.
You mean like Democrats?
I love that. I took that directly off the movie. I had to download the whole movie just to get that clip. But this is what we're dealing with, you know. We're dealing with a mindset that's like a zombie. I mean, everyone follows the pack mentality. No one thinks for themselves. And everyone's buying into this LGBT community when they're only 1% of our society. Where have we fallen to that we allow 1% of our society to overrule the vast majority of us? How hard have we fallen that we forget our moral values, that we completely ignore them and allow them to be trampled upon? Deb, am I right or wrong?
Well, I was
Deb,
are you talking to me? I didn't want to say
Yes.
anything unless you asked me a question. I'm sorry. I had my mind on The Walking Dead, and that's what our society is right now, The Walking Dead. And most of the people are the walking zombies. And then you have the bad people that are the ones that are running the show. And then you have the rest of us, like poor old Rick, that are trying to get by with critical thinking skills. So that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry I didn't hear all of your question. I wasn't paying much attention. Sorry, Annie. I'm a poor
That's all right.
a poor person to ask.
Well, you know, critical thinking.
My
is
mind
something
starts
that,
wandering sometimes.
critical thinking is something that we're finding lacking, especially among our youth, because now they're so obsessed with all this media, all these new electronics. They've got their cell phones, they've got their iPads, they now have the cell phones on the watches, and you're up in Twitter or MySpace or Facebook or Instagram or whatever the flavor of the month is, and they're getting their information from there instead of going there and researching a subject on their own and finding out what the truth is. You know, you get a 10-second soundbite or a 140-character blip, and that's the whole of the information. So much information is being put out as truth, when in fact it's just propaganda. And it's propaganda we've got to fight against. We've got to get our kids to start thinking critically. You know, listen to both sides of an argument and think clearly. I mean, I had a heck of a hard time with my own nephew, who he just turned 20, and he's arguing for gay marriage when I tried to explain to him, look at it from the other side. And what government has done today, they have defined what marriage is. And the next thing we're going to see, there's going to be a lawsuit in a church, against a church, because that church will say, no, we will not perform a same-sex marriage. Professor, I see it coming down the road. Do you see the same thing on Steve?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Professor.
I agree with Deb. And we're seeing that already with the people that won't take pictures and the wedding photographers, the wedding cake builders. I wonder if we could go into one of these homosexual bakeries and get them to build me a Confederate flag cake up in South Carolina. But yeah, we're seeing it already, and this is just the icing on the cake, if you will.
Now, actually, a pastor went into a bakery that was run by a same-sex couple, and he videotaped himself doing this, going in, asking them to bake a cake for him and write on the cake that same-sex marriage is against my religion. They refused. He put the video up on YouTube. They made a complaint. He said, all right, fine, I'll take it down. They tried to have him arrested. They tried to file criminal charges against him. This is how far the left will go to silence our voices. Now, he did it to prove a point, saying, hey, listen, you're not allowing me to come into your business and demand something that's against your beliefs. Why are you coming into our businesses and demanding something that is against our belief? What is good for one side is not good for the other. And this is what, sadly, our society has delved into. You know, it is perfectly okay for 1% of our society to make the rules for the rest of us. And we have to follow their rules. They cannot respect us, but we must respect them.
Until you get rid of the judges and the lawyers that bring up this, that will take this stuff in consideration, we're not going to win the fight, because we are a nation of laws, and they're going to say we're a nation of laws unless it doesn't fit their narrative.
Now, Vito makes a point. Go into a Muslim-owned bakery and ask the same question. Where's the hysteria from the left? You know, that becomes a whole another show. You know, everyone is claiming for the LGBT rights. At the same time, they're saying, oh, Muslim, just leave them alone. It's just their religion. You know, they're a religion of peace. They just want to, live their lives here. You know, everything's okay. There is no terrorism. You know, just because they're Muslim does not mean that they want to behead us. But if you go into a Muslim community and say you're gay, you better be not standing in a tall building, because you're probably going to go flying off the roof. You better not be the son of a Muslim father or a daughter of a Muslim father and say, hey, Daddy, I'm gay, because you're going to lose your head. You'll have an honor killing. Yeah, it's perfectly okay for the rest of society. Everyone has their special little niche. It's becoming so confusing that when we go to talk about it, we don't even know what we're talking about anymore, because we are confused. You know, what do you want us to do? Just where do you want us to stand is what everyone's saying. Tell us where to go and what to think, instead of letting us think for ourselves. It goes back to, what is the difference between an ethical man and a moral man? An ethical man knows it's wrong to cheat on his wife. A moral man will not cheat on his wife. So when everyone says ethics, run for the hills, because then they're going to tell you you've got a two-faced person here. They're going to say, okay, I know you can't cheat on the wife, so you don't cheat on your wife. And then he goes around and cheats on his wife. And this is what the LGBT community is doing. And we've gone down that slippery slope, and we're sliding real fast. It's not a snowball. This is now an avalanche. It's an avalanche, folks. And all you can do is get out of the way and run. Professor, do you agree? Get out of the way and run?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I'm getting some ice from a real nice customer right now. Thank you. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. I had to bring her a certified letter, and she brought me some ice and water. It's like 120 in my mail truck. Yes, it's I'm thinking the Mexicans ought to start being careful, because we might be getting ready to flood over their border and go that way.
It's the truth, because you can't go to Canada. Right now they're worse than we are.
Yeah, and I've seen Canadian bacon, so I know exactly the dangers Canada poses.
Now, what I love is political incorrectness at its best. Hardee's now has a new burger out there that is topped with pulled pork and bacon. I love it. I love it. And I hope they open one in the Muslim community.
They've gotten rid of our Hardee's around here. I'll have to go find one.
Miss Hardee's. Have you seen Oreos has a gay Oreo now? They're like rainbow colored.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, no, because I love Oreos.
That's another thing I got to quit eating. Come on.
I know it. I'm addicted to them, too. It's not the rainbow ones.
I love them dipped in milk. Doggone it.
Oh, man. That's true, doggone it. You know, I stopped eating Cadbury's when they put on there that they were halal. And I love Cadbury's.
Too.
What the heck is Cadbury's doing making an Easter egg or Easter bunnies that are halal? If they don't believe in Christianity and don't believe in the divinity of Christ and Easter, what the heck are they doing making halal Easter candy? Will someone tell me the logic of that one?
I don't know. And why Subway? They serve pepperoni, for crying out loud.
How does pepperoni become halal? It's insane out there today. It is absolutely insane. If you pull up, there is a website, if you Google it, you know, halal companies, and it'll give you a whole list of all these companies. And I believe Domino's is on it. Some of these places, you know, it makes absolutely no sense. You make but I do like Little Caesars with the bacon crust pizza. That's definitely not halal. And I want to order a bunch of them and send them over to the local mosque, but the local mosque is in Savannah, and I don't know. I don't think they're going to deliver that far. I don't think they're going to drive 45 minutes for a delivery. So that one goes out the window.
I still like Pizza Hut best. Are they? They're not halal, I hope. Pizza Hut.
I'm not sure.
I don't think they brag about it.
No.
I
don't even. I refuse to go into a McDonald's because of their kale. I need to forget it.
All right, here we go. Halal restaurants. Let me see if I can pull it up. And let's see. I go through a whole long thing. All right, tell me where are. Now it's not saying where I can find them. This is not what I want. But if someone can Google it and see, okay, here we go. 96 American chains with halal on it. All right. Kennedy Fried Chicken, Elevated Burger, Crispy Crunch. Look at these. Let's see. We were looking for what? Pizza Hut? This is not in alphabetical order. Popeyes, believe it or not, is halal. Outback is halal. Supermarkets, Safeway, Publix, Costco, Whole Foods, Walmart, ShopRite, Key Food. Oh, my goodness, all these places that Food Lions is not on it. Oh, good. Because I like Food Lion better than I like Publix.
Well, I do Kroger. Is Kroger's not on there, I hope. Okay.
I do not see Kroger's.
Okay. I haven't seen them sell any, so they don't even sell Tyson Foods anymore, which is great.
Oh,
how can you be halal and have pork products in the building?
That is a good question. And I can't see how you can be. But I guess there's a way to get around it. If you've read the Quran, which I did, I have Usama Daduk's interpretation. It said that you can violate the food restrictions, the food and alcohol restrictions, if there's nothing else. And there was something else in there. I forget what it is. But, yeah, if it's necessary, you can violate it. But, just go back to doing what's right later on. So if there's a way to break a rule, the Quran tells you how to break the rule. So I think that's how they get around doing that. Anyway, we're coming down to our last 7 minutes of the show. Deb and Professor, I want to thank you for calling in and helping me today. I appreciate that. Hopefully we'll have Dan back with us on Tuesday. Tuesday's going to be a show that I don't think anyone wants to miss because we're going to have Paul Sutcliffe back with us. And, of course, we're going to be talking about Islam. And I got some good shows lined up for next week. Pastor Aubrey Shine, the teeth and backwards. Pastor Aubrey Shine is going to be returning also. And I got to have author Chris Mitchell also the following week. So we're going to have some great shows lined up, and hopefully we'll have Dan back in the saddle again. So, Professor, do you have a show going on tonight?
Yes, we're going to talk about Justice Scalia's response to the Supreme Court decision on gays today, and then a catechism of the Constitution and those papers. 6 p.m.
What about the Obamacare ruling that Scalia also wrote on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
SCOTUS care.
Yeah.
SCOTUS care.
SCOTUS care, exactly.
Yeah. That's what he said.
Well, now
SCOTUS care. I have so much respect for that one justice. That he is the epitome of the great conservative. I know there's 3 of them on there, but he is the greatest of the 3. So, thank you so much, Annie. I'll let you go, and I will see you guys later. Okay, signing off.
All right, Deb.
Bye,
Deb.
God bless.
Now, God bless you too. Professor, do we know who wrote the dissent on today's decision on gay marriage?
No, I haven't heard yet, but I'm hoping that it's either Thomas or Scalia also. I'm hoping neither of them jumped on, but I haven't been around a computer. I've been in the mail truck all day, but I will know by tonight's show.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to pull it up because before I went on air, it was just a few moments before that I caught the whole thing. So I didn't get a chance to pull it all up. Been a little bit discombobulated without my co-host here. But we struggled through it, and Vito, he is a Sicilian, so we'll forgive him that he's a Sicilian. And I think, Vito, you know what I mean, since my family came from Naples and Rome. We'll forgive Scalia for that. Anyway, I want to thank everyone that's been listening in. Please join us again back here on Tuesday. We'll be here same bat time, same bat station. So please join us as we talk with Paul Sutcliffe and about radical Islam. Shouldn't say that, it's Islam. And I hope you all have a happy, safe, and healthy weekend. And until then, I say good night and God bless.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Health care plan. Health care plan.
It's gonna work, kid. You're working hard like your parents both
target those who vote the wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to the place of the left hypocrisy. Little pink outfit for you and me. Oh, welcome to the place. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Here in the land of the not so free.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you've got a business, you didn't build that. Election taxes, those on the take. Attorney generals lying even while on the road, ignoring dying veterans and border agents. Oh, hey, shut your mouth, swallow your pride. What does it matter? Our ambassador died. There's nothing you can do about it. Might as well face it. Disagree with anything you label racist. Welcome to the place. Welcome to the place of the left hypocrisy. So